November 9th, 1975, 2:30 p.m., the Edmund Fitzgerald leaves Superior, Wisconsin with 26,116 tons of tactonite pellets. Captain Ernest M. McSorley of the Edmund Fitzgerald was joined by the Arthur M. Anderson, captained by Bernie Cooper. Aware of a November storm entering Lake Superior, the two captains agreed to take the northerly route across Lake Superior, with the Edmund Fitzgerald leading the way. The two ships would use the protection of the Canadian shoreline before turning southeast to reach the shelter of Whitefish Point. Weather conditions began to deteriorate. By early afternoon on November 10th, the wind was gusting up to 70 knots and the waves began to reach 25 feet in height. It was as the Edmund Fitzgerald passed Caribou Island that the snow and rising spray obscured the sight of the Edmund Fitzgerald from the Arthur M. Anderson. At 3:30 p.m. that afternoon, Captain McSorley on the Edmund Fitzgerald radioed Captain Cooper saying, "Anderson, this is the Fitzgerald. I have a rail fence down, 2 vents lost or damaged, and a list. Will you stay with me till I get to Whitefish?" At this time, the Fitzgerald slowed to allow the Anderson to close the distance between the two ships. As the afternoon wore on and the storm continued to rage, radio communications with the Fitzgerald offered no other alarming reports from Captain McSorley. First Mate Morgan Clark kept watching the Fitzgerald on the radar from the Anderson. He was the last person to hear from the Fitzgerald. At 7:10 p.m., Clark asked the Fitzgerald how they were making out with their problems. Captain McSorley replied, "We are holding our own." At 7:15, the Edmund Fitzgerald was lost on radar. At 7:22, Clark radioed the Fitzgerald again. There was no answer. On November 10, 1975, the Edmund Fitzgerald was lost with her entire crew of 29 men on Lake Superior, just 17 miles northwest of the shelter of Whitefish Point on Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The legend of the Edmund Fitzgerald remains the most mysterious and controversial of all the Great Lakes shipwrecks. Her story is surpassed only by that of the Titanic.